This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me in the studio, all masked up and socially distanced, is the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar. On the phone, we have our music director, Elaine Trudell, and also by phone, we have a very special guest who will be familiar to Toledo audiences. Please welcome
Chelsea Tipton.
I made that just for you. I should add Chelsea Tipton II, right?
The second, but it's okay. You did have a clarinet in there, which is my instrument, so all's good.
You're conducting a concert, which is happening on Sunday, February 28th. It's 8 o'clock p.m. at St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church. This is called On Angels' Wings We Soar to the Light, a program in honor of Black History Month, and there's a lot of stuff on here to talk about. But, Zach, maybe you can just tell us, now this is for a live audience, right?
It is, yes.
Okay, so if people want to watch it, they can't stream the concert, they have to actually go to the concert.
Correct. It's the old-fashioned way of doing concerts there, Brad. We're encouraging people to see them in person.
Yeah.
Now, this is a wonderful and enduring part of our concert calendar every year. I love this performance. The COVID experience will be just as memorable. I think the instrumentation will be a little bit different, but there's just such a gorgeous church. St. Martin's has recently updated their HVAC, so I can tell you it's going to be nice and warm in there as well. The music's always warm, and the weather inside will be as well. So I'm looking forward to this one, and so happy to have Chelsea back in town and leading this orchestra.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for folks who don't know, Chelsea was for how many years? 7 years, right? Resident conductor here?
7 years, that's correct.
Now you're down in Texas with the Symphony of Southeast Texas in, where are you?
It's in Beaumont.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
In Beaumont, Texas.
Elaine would say Beaumont. It's kind of French.
Elaine, can we get a Beaumont from you, Elaine?
Beaumont.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
And your best
out here, Beaumont.
Your best Southeast France accent.
Southeast France.
Right.
Beaumont, which means, I think, beautiful mountains. And there's not many mountains here, and this beauty is so-so. But we're very close to the Louisiana border. We're about 50 miles from the Louisiana border. So it's very Zydeco-ish, very Louisiana-ish influenced in this region of Texas, and we're very close to Houston. So many of our players, probably about 80% of our players, come out of Houston to play here.
Well, we're glad that you're coming back. You were here a few years ago, also conducting a concert at St. Martin's, right?
That's correct. That was my first time returning since I had left, and my experience in Toledo was just a really transformative time for me. It was a time where I got to do a tremendous number of concerts in the community, really develop my experience on the podium, my technique on the podium, talking to audiences. And so it really prepared me for this job that I have down here with the Beaumont Symphony. So I'm very grateful to what Toledo gave me during my experience there.
Well, we should also mention, of course, that your path and Elaine Trudell's path did not actually meet. So you guys have never met in person, but you're meeting virtually right now on Toledo Symphony Lab. So, Elaine, meet Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea, meet Elaine. There we go.
Yay.
Now we've got that out of the way. I do have a yay. Hang on. Let me get it for you.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. Oh, Brad, that's amazing. Elaine, do you want to tell the listeners what that was?
That's my daughter, Madeleine. I didn't know you did that. That's so good.
You put her on the phone, and I had to use it add it to my soundboard now. So she is going to be every time that you do something well, you're going to hear this.
Good job, guys.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that nice?
I love it.
Okay.
So, gentlemen, be careful what you say. It can become a
Yes.
soundboard icon.
It will be immortalized through our program. Well, Chelsea, let's get to know you a little better. You know, for folks who are not familiar with your background, I'm going to pull up a little background music for you, and I get more
clarinet, I can tell.
more clarinet,
right.
more extra credit. You are a clarinetist.
No. You get the same number of points.
We should mention I have a trombone for Elaine, but we already know his story.
Sounds very different in the Mozart clarinet quintet.
Yeah. So, Chelsea, take it back and tell us a little bit about your genesis as a musician.
Sure. Well, both my parents are musicians. They were music educators. They taught both in public school and also in the black colleges when I was growing up. We settled in Greensboro, North Carolina, where my dad was the dean of a all-girls black college, Bennett College, and that's where I say I grew up, even though I was born in Oklahoma. My instrument, like my dad, was the clarinet, and I went to Eastman School of Music, majored in clarinet, and that's when I started to kind of dabble a little bit in conducting. I taught for a few years at some colleges, Central Michigan University, and then my main start into professional conducting was with the Savannah Symphony in Savannah, Georgia. I was their associate conductor for 4 years. And unfortunately, while I was there as the associate conductor, the orchestra went out of business. And I'd already started doing some conducting up in Toledo and was in the search for the associate conductor position there. So I won that position and then moved to Toledo from Savannah and was in Toledo for 7 years and did a ton of concerts, as I said. And then I got a job with the Symphony of Southeast Texas, where I currently live. And I've been also 6 years with the New Haven Symphony up in New Haven, Connecticut, as their principal pops conductor. So I go up there 4 times a year, and of course not this season because, well, everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But it's been a chance to really get my taste of snow when I go up there. And living down here is great. I like living in a warmer climate. Only thing we have here consistently, especially the past 4 or 5 years, are hurricanes. So the summers are kind of worrisome, being so close to the Gulf. But I'm really grateful for my career. And like I said earlier, I'm really grateful to Toledo for all that it gave me during my time there.
Well, we're glad to have you. Absolutely.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys!
I know your heart is melting,
love it.
Elaine, every
Love it.
time I put that on.
My heart melts every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Now, Chelsea, my good friend Elaine Carroll always tells me how happy she is to work with you in New Haven. So I'm sorry you haven't been able to get there this year, but I know that's an audience that can't wait for some good pops with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do 4 programs up there, and we do pairs of them. It's been a great experience. And Elaine Carroll has been wonderful to work with. She's been a good guiding force for me as well. Also, a big guiding force for me, too, for many years was Bob Bell in Toledo land. So
Yeah.
I've had some good people who've put me on their shoulders and given me some good guidance.
Well, let's talk about the music that's on this concert in celebration of Black History Month. I of course program things around Black History Month, but I also feel like, every month should be Black History Month. But I guess this is an occasion. This is an occasion for us to celebrate some composers, and I know there's some pieces on here, Chelsea, that you have, programmed that you feel are important for audiences to hear. The whole program itself starts with the spiritual arrangements by Morton Gould. Now, Morton Gould was not, he was not an African-American composer, but he made, like many other white composers, made great use of the spiritual. And if you read what he wrote about the spiritual, he says, that's what it is. It's spiritual music. It's music that speaks to the African-American experience in a way that no other music really can, because it contains, the heritage, all the good, all the bad, all of these feelings. It really is sort of like the touchstone, I guess, of the African-American experience expressed in music. Now, Would you agree with that, or what are your thoughts on the role of the spiritual at large in the course of music?
Well, I think the setting that Morton Gould provided for these spirituals is a really beautiful setting. It conveys certainly the kind of redundant, but the spirit or the message behind each of these songs. Go Down Moses, Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. It gives the emotions of those spirituals. Now, what's missing, of course, because we're doing it with just strings, are the words. Those add an additional, it reinforces the message. But I think Morton Gould does a wonderful job of capturing the spirit of the music. So even if you don't know the words, you do get a sense of the emotions that are behind these pieces. They're wonderfully set for the strings, and I've done some of them already with the symphony in the past. But it does capture the spirit of these wonderful pieces.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if you don't know all the words, you can't help but think of at least the titles or the words, when you hear those iconic melodies, because they're so well known, right? And these beautiful, beautiful arrangements. You also have music by George Walker on here, his Lyric for Strings, which is just a gorgeous, beautiful piece. George Walker, among many other things, was the first African-American to win a Pulitzer Prize. This is a work that he wrote when he was fairly young, the Lyric for Strings, which he dedicated to his grandmother, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right. And it's similar to Adagio for Strings in that by Samuel Barber, in that it was taken from a string quartet that he wrote back in 1946. And this is the second movement from the string quartet. And the piece really does work beautifully. It works beautifully for an entire string section. It starts off very quiet. It has a big climax, and then it ends quietly. Again, much in the same design as the Adagio for strings. But, when we're programming these concerts, we want to expose the audience to all types of music. We're just using the string section this time, but there's so much rich repertoire for the strings and the string family. And when we're also programming, I'm also as I'm programming a concert, I'm also thinking about what can I say about these different pieces. And I think this it has the essence of a spiritual, but it's not a spiritual, but it has the essence of a spiritual. This Lyric for Strings by George Walker. And he was one of our very important African-American composers of the 20th century, Pulitzer Prize-winning composers of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And he also graduated from my alma mater got his doctorate from Eastman School of Music, back in 1955.
Wow.
So he's a product of our schools, of our education here, and he took his career to great heights through his wonderful compositions.
I'm curious, looking at the list of pieces on this program, you've got some Mozart on here. What was the thinking behind that, or was that Merwin's idea?
That was actually my idea. Good music, as Ellington says, good music is good music. It's just great music. And I just feel like that second movement from the Eine kleine Nacht music, a little bit of night music, will be in the evening. We'll be dazzling our audience with some music of the evening. That theme resonated with me to put on this concert. And when I do concerts, Black History Month for Martin Luther King Jr. program, I want to have the best music possible for our listeners, and that's music from all composers. It's just a great piece of music. I've gone to concerts where conductors have talked about every piece of music between each piece. That gets really pedantic. Sometimes it's good to be quiet and let the music speak for itself.
Yeah.
It's just a great piece of music.
It's such a beautiful program. I had absolutely no hand in it. I always see, all the programs that I do, a great majority of them. But when we have somebody that's as competent and knows our orchestra so well, our public so well, I mean, it's like, you just feel like, welcome home.
Yeah.
But I do have a special place in my heart for Walker because he did write a really good trombone concerto.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's but Walker was a phenomenal pianist, musician as well. I mean, he played not just his music. He was hired to play Rachmaninoff and Prokofiev concerto and Brahms concerto with like major symphonies everywhere. He's a guy who did a lot of firsts. That was somebody very important. And it's funny what you said, Brad, about yes, like program during the month of February, but all year long. And it's maybe it's my personal background where I'm from, but I just want a program. We just wind up programming music by African American composers pretty much all the time. It's just you look at the symphony, we have artists and also music. When we programmed the Price, when we had Stewart come and play, and when programmed Stewart speak, and I'm going, wow. I think it's a question of trying to be contemporary of your time as well, and looking what's around you, and not just keeping your close eyes as just playing some dead white men music all the time,
Yeah. Well, and also, going back to what Chelsea said by way of Duke Ellington, I mean, if the music is good, we want to hear it, right?
Good, you say.
That's right.
Incredible. The River, what an incredible piece of
yeah.
I always try to find a place to where we can we put it. I mean, we're the River, of course, and there's some new orchestral version of like Black, Brown, and Beige, like the version by Lawrence Blanchard made a fantastic orchestration.
Yeah.
In Montreal, we just had the opera written by Terence Blanchard as well. I mean, I'm a trombone player. I play a lot with jazz musicians that are great composers as well, and it's like, I'm looking for a place to put that 1 hour with Marcellus violin concerto. It's such a great piece.
Yeah.
But it's very long, but it's very good,
Absolutely. We'll just play it really fast.
I will say, two performers and composers that had a great influence on my life has been Duke Ellington and also Wynton Marsalis. Wynton is someone who, during the time I was in college, was in the 80s. He was just getting that recognition of winning all those Grammys. And he's someone who's been in my life for a number of years for a variety of reasons. But that sense of like both he and Ellington making great music, whether it's classical music, jazz, new age, excellent music transcends all those genres, and people are attracted to just good music. And so they've really been a tremendous influence. And another piece by Ellington, which I've done a number of times with the orchestra, is Harlem, which has a great trombone solo in it as well. But Ellington wasn't afraid to go into the concert hall. He wasn't afraid to use a full string section with his music, and instead of just staying in one type of style of composing and music making.
Yeah. Well, you could do a whole program of Duke Ellington music and have it all be different,
I'm okay with that.
Yes. Who Ellington makes me think of a lot, and you're going to find this totally from left field, but it makes me think of Haydn.
Really?
And not stylistically, but it's a guy that, he wrote music all the time, and he had to keep a band together all the time, world-class band. And Haydn was the same thing, right? But it's just different language, different era. But you have to be it's not even being a jack of all trades, being a top at your job at everything you have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just not just making music, but keeping the medium of that music alive and trying to keep convincing people that medium is important and is relevant. He was very, very important musician.
Yeah. Well, he was also, Haydn was also one of the most original composers of his time, and certainly Duke Ellington of his time as well.
Have you heard Haydn's version of Take the A Train?
I have not heard that.
No,
I look forward to that.
It's really interesting. You should listen to it. I'm sure you have it in your library over there. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, I've been voted off the island. It's been good talking to you.
All right, Zach
Good
is
job,
leaving.
guys.
Right.
Good job, guys.
There we go.
There we go.
Sometimes sarcastic, I see.
Nobody's going to understand why I keep playing that clip of Elaine's daughter, but it's too good to let go. I'm just picturing this concert, though. As I understand it, it's candlelit, right?
Oh, yeah. This is one of our new innovations this year, and it's really kind of a COVID response. You know, we think about kind of where we are in this world, and yes, there's a lot of light on the horizon, I'd say, right now, but one of the things that a lot of people have been telling us is that they use our concerts as a space for escape, and kind of a way to calm their minds and stop thinking about, you know, the urgency around us. And that can be really therapeutic. So we started doing back at Thanksgiving was some of our concerts, especially those in churches, bringing several hundred candles, LED candles, and setting them up around the musicians and upon the altar, and creating this very beautiful space where you can kind of fade into the music, and it kind of draws your attention into the environment so that the music becomes part of the space, the church in this case becomes part of the music, and it really draws the viewers in a multi-sensory way. And I'm really proud of this, and I hope that it's something that we continue doing. But I'm really excited that we get to add this to the experience at St. Martin de Porres.
Absolutely. Well, I know that we're going to run out of time fairly soon, and I did prepare a quiz, which I want to try to fit in here, because I know you all look so forward to the quiz. And,
well, today, yes.
Yeah, and because Chelsea is our guest, you may or may not know that Chelsea is conducted with the great singer Sting, right? Chelsea, you worked with Sting?
That's right.
Yeah, so I have a Sting
Back
quiz.
in 2011.
I have a Sting quiz, right?
Gosh.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go. Let me bring up the Sting quiz music.
Flight of the Bumble Sting.
I thought they didn't
Okay.
sing.
Yeah.
All right, don't ruin my questions now. Here we go. This is multiple choice, okay? What is Sting's real name? Is it Gordon Timothy Matthew Sumner? Is it Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner? Or is it Gordon Thomas Michael Sumner?
Well, I knew his
A,
name
B,
was
or C?
Gordon, so I got him.
Yeah.
A, B, or C?
I think A.
It's not A.
I think B.
You got it. Very good. Well, you would know. Okay, where does the nickname Sting come from? Does it come from a yellow and black sweater, a yellow and black wool cap, or a yellow and black oversized scarf?
Pretty sure it's a sweater.
All right, Zach gets that one. He's zipping right through it. True or false, lightning kills more people in the U.S. annually than bee stings?
False.
You know, Brad, I'm going to go on a limb and say true.
You had a 50-50 chance. I mean, on average, 90 people a year are killed by lightning in the U.S., and 50 people a year are killed by bee stings in the U.S., so
Wow.
slightly less.
Close.
Yeah.
How do the bees know to stay near the storms? That's what I'm confused about.
I know. I know. Well, that's not both of them. Which of the following jobs does Sting have before his music career? Bus conductor, school teacher, construction worker, all of the above or none of the above? Okay, I'm going to give it to Merwin if nobody answers.
Let's go with all of the above.
All of the above. That was a tie.
Yeah, that's Elaine and Zach. Yeah.
All right. Was that Elaine or was... Okay.
Sorry, was that Elaine or was that Chelsea?
Doesn't
Look
matter.
at me.
Okay.
Merwin's going to win anyway.
There it is.
Okay.
Merwin gets a point.
So we all know the 1973 movie The Sting.
Uh-huh.
Which person involved with that film did not actually see it until 2004? Was it Paul Newman? Was it Robert Redford? Or was it Marvin Hamlish?
I'd
Which one
say
of
it was
those?
Paul Newman. I'd say it was Robert Redford.
Marvin Hamlish?
No, it was Robert Redford.
He really?
He did not see the film until 30 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What Sting song uses a musical quote from Prokofiev? Is it Russians?
Oh, the Russian.
Elaine knows that one.
Yeah.
Lieutenant KJ. It's from Lieutenant KJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Elaine's winning this.
I don't know. I think you're all tied. Okay. His 2006 album Songs from the Labyrinth features songs of John Dowland. Which of Dowland's songs was not featured on that recording? Is it Flow My Tears, In Darkness Let Me Dwell, or Semper Dowland, Semper Dolens? A, B, or C? Got a 33.333 chance.
Yeah.
C?
Letter C.
Oh, no, that's right, actually.
I haven't listened to this album in probably a decade. I'm trying to remember the track list.
Yeah, Semper Dowland, Semper Dolens is not on there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, last question. We'll just fit it in. True or false, the average adult can withstand more than 1,000 bee stings safely,
In or out of a lightning storm?
as long as they're not allergic.
100,000? Is that what you just said?
100,000?
No, 1,000 bee stings.
At once. It's not like cumulative over your life.
Yeah, no, at once. 1,000 bee stings at once.
They can survive.
Well, it sounds like it's impossible, so let's say yes.
You're saying it's true?
Well, it sounds like it's... Yeah, exactly. It's one of those trick questions, right?
Good job, guys.
Good job.
I love it.
Good job.
So, follow-up question: is there a plateau for the number of bee stings that you can actually survive? Like, can you survive 2,000?
You'll have to do. It's actually.
I know I'm not a bee sting
Hang on.
quizmaster.
I
like
actually
you.
have it here.
Okay.
10 stings per pound of body weight. So take how much you weigh and take that times 10.
Well, what if you're a very small child? 1,000 could really.
Well, yeah, it's not recommended for children to have 1,000 bee stings. Don't try this at home.
I demand a recount.
Don't try this at home, as we often say on Toledo Symphony Lab. I do want to mention again the concert is happening Sunday evening, 8 p.m. It is at St. Martin de Porres Church, which is on Bancroft in Toledo. And if folks want information on that and to get tickets, the tickets are limited. So if they're interested in finding out if there are any tickets available, the phone number is 419-241-4544. You can also read more about this concert at ToledoSymphony.com. Chelsea, before I let you go, I want to talk a little bit more about the program on here because, we've talked about composers who are no longer with us and some iconic composers as well. But also you have some living composers on here like Jessie Montgomery and her work. And she wrote a piece that is kind of like her reaction to the United States national anthem called Starburst. And that's paired with Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is, commonly known as the Black national anthem as well. You want to talk about that programming aspect a little bit?
Sure. Jessie is someone who I met on I conducted a tour with the Sphinx, a Sphinx ensemble. We went to about 10 different cities, and she played violin in that. And that's the first time I had a chance to meet her. But she's become just a really prolific and profound composer. And this piece, Starburst, I heard a couple of years ago. And so I suggested to Merwin to see if we could add it to the program. And I think it fits nicely thematically with our theme, which is Angels' Wings, We Soar to the Light. It's been a very difficult few years for the country, and it's with the COVID going on. And so I think it's a fitting kind of bright way to end our concert. And I think it's a good pairing with Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is about people coming together. Now, we won't have people actually singing, but we're going to have people to hum along with us in the course of the concert. So it's a nice contrast, and it's great to do music by composers who are no longer with us, But it's also nice to have a chance for me to actually call Jessie up and talk to her about her piece. And of course, we have pieces like by Mozart. They're actually decomposers now, so there's that.
Oh, I used the trombone
I was going to say, he doesn't
early.
get a sad trombone on that one?
Yay! We'll give you that.
There you go.
Well, I imagine it's going to be a very powerful program, and especially given the surroundings in which you're presenting it and the candlelight setting, the fact that folks have not really been able to gather as of late. So the opportunity to come together and to celebrate with this music, and you talk about, people humming that beautiful melody of Lift Every Voice and Sing. I can just imagine it's going to be quite a tribute in music.
Well, and we're always looking for ways to bring the audience onto the stage with us in some way or another. And if they can participate, it just makes it more of a meaningful experience. And that's what we try to create with our programs, whether it's at the peristyle or it's at the church, ways to connect with the community. And I think that's one of the things that the TSO does so well, with not only saying, we want you to come to our concerts at our homes, the homes being the peristyle and where they do the Pops concerts, we're also willing to go out into the community. It's got to be a two-way street, and that's one of the things the TSO does so well.
Wonderful. Chelsea Tipton, the music director of the Symphony of Southeast Texas, also the former resident conductor of the Toledo Symphony, making a homecoming appearance on Sunday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. for this wonderful concert we've been talking about. Chelsea, thank you so much for spending some time with us on the phone, and we look forward to having you here in Toledo.
Thank you so much.
This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. And remember, you can check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO's streaming concerts online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Elaine Trudell, and Chelsea Tipton. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.
Good job, guys.